So let's see if this is going to record for me. I am DeRoy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. I was doing some reading up today online, looking up stuff, how we make words out of anything. And new respect for Ruslan here. New respect for Ruslan. Um, I don't know. I like Ruslan, but Ruslan is a voice in places where I probably would never go. And a lot of people that I go to church with, and a lot of people, a lot of my superiors would never go. Okay. Um, Shout out to Ruslan for sitting between these three non-Christian people who have all these different beliefs in that, and he's able to stand his ground. Okay. The title of the video is Destiny on Nick Fuentes, Kanye West, Christianity, Reparations, and more. And I mean, I watched the entire video. I woke up to it, and it was just on my, it was on my screen, and I put a note in here. It's so sad that people. Yeah, this guy here in the middle. Let me show you this guy right here. If my pointer will show him, this guy right here. See where this guy right here. He's the host leader. He's the guy spearheading this conversation. There was a black guy sitting here before Ruslan showed up on the screen. There was a black guy sitting there, and he was very interesting because he believed, you know, he understands white people. He just don't understand how some things came into existence, is something in our society and something to talk about. And this guy right here, I mean, I really like his education. This guy here on my left, the host of the whole show here. I guess this is his show. I'm assuming this is his show. I don't know nothing about this guy, but it's called No Jumper. And I think this is his show, this guy right here. But what bothered me was that let me show you my comment down here so it'll help me draw back my memories on a bunch of stuff he said. I said here, it's so sad that people educate themselves about anything and everything except God. And then when they meet someone that lives by faith, you meet somebody that lives that life and has been happy living that life, is raising his family on that life, okay? Then they try so hard to psychoanalyze. And that's what I get a lot. I get psychoanalyzed. Christians get psychoanalyzed, period, by atheists and a lot of religious people, okay? Instead of just admitting that they didn't show as much enthusiasm into God at all as all the other things that they study. So, you got people out there that will say, oh, I got a degree in religion. Well, if you don't believe in God, what did you study religion for? I don't understand why you felt you need to study religion. Okay, I don't get that. Like, why'd you need to study religion if you don't believe in God? Okay, um, you know, um, and then we have the topic of abortion. Now, to me, I don't believe in abortion. Period. Now, there's one subject in abortion that I would, because there's two parts of abortion. There's, first of all, where abortion doesn't make sense because it's a living human being in you and you don't know what the outcome is going to be for that human. Sure, you got raped. Sure, you slept with a douchebag. You was doing prostitution at the time. You was a lesbian at the time and you did something with another guy, you and your lesbian girlfriend, and y'all didn't expect to get pregnant. Okay, whatever the reason you had this abortion, it's always in my opinion, is people that are wicked enough to do, um, and this is my opinion. This is not God's opinion. This is answering a question that he said about Ruslan. Um, just the difference between my opinion and God's opinion. Okay, first of all, if you're a prostitute and you're laying on your back for several men, you are not ready to bring a child into this world. You're not ready to be a mother. Who's going to raise this child? It ain't you. Okay? Now, to me, without God getting involved, without believing the Bible, I would probably feel like a prostitute should abort her children. A lesbian should abort her children because she's not in a marriage with a man. Okay? You don't make a good mother. I don't feel a lesbian makes a good mother. I don't feel a prostitute makes a good mother. I don't feel like two gay men make good fathers. Okay? But in order for two gay men to have a baby, a woman has to turn down the opportunity to have an abortion and have her child so she can sell it to these two gay men. Okay? But I don't see, to me, the only people that should be having children are heterosexual married couples. Not prostitutes, not lesbians, not two gay dudes, not a transgender woman, okay? There's only one person that should be having a baby, and this is my opinion, and that is a woman that is heterosexually married to a heterosexual man. Everybody else is not qualified to be mothers. So if you're not qualified to be a mother, why should you have a baby, even though you're sleeping around? And this is me talking. This ain't God talking. Now, if it was up to D-Roy, nobody would have babies. Everybody could get an abortion because you're ruining that child's life if you're not in a heterosexual marriage where you and this man plan to have this child. Okay? I got no problem in D-Roy's mind of those people getting abortions. Okay? Those kinds of people. But in the biblical mind and in the God mind, only God can allow a woman to get pregnant, whether she was raped or whether she's a lesbian or a prostitute or a child killer, whatever she is. Only God can allow that woman to get pregnant. We have just as many women in this country that want to have children and can't. Almost as many, anyway, as women that are having children. This goes all the way back to the Bible days. Matter of fact, in the Bible days, there was more women that couldn't have children. This is where the whole concubinage and the polygamy and all that stuff comes in. They think it comes in from a good place. It's just a man's decision. No, this was a decision for men that have wives that can't have children. Okay? Because there was a lot of barren women, depending on the climate, the place where they were at, and so forth. Okay? There was too many women out there that had trouble having children. Okay? Now, you can call me a Christianist, or you can call me into Jesusism, because you can be a Christianist and really not. And I was wondering, why do we call ourselves Christians instead of Christianists? Because you can be a Christianist, and then this has to do with something this guy right here said to Ruslan. This was Ruslan. And I don't know who this guy is, but he's the host of the show. This guy right here. This is Ruslan KD right here. And this is the host of the show. Okay. He said something to Ruslan, and I'm thinking, And it made me look up the word, and I'm thinking, you know what? You can be a Christian and to not really be a Christian. You can be what they call Jesusism and not really be a Christian. Being a Christian is one thing. And some of y'all that love to stalk me know that I'm right now on my channel, my business channel, prosperity and business channel. I gotta give that channel. I gotta give myself a better title than just D-Roy Cruz. I thought I gave it a title, but it shows up as just D-Roy Cruz. Um, did I done lost my train of thought? You notice that I've been spending a lot of time talking about the Philippines because of somebody invitation from me, knowing that I'm a blogger here on YouTube and all like that. Their invitation for me to get into this passport bros and all this stuff, and I'm studying this stuff. And as I break it apart, I'm making videos about it, and it's really interesting because I'm someone that has always felt that Asian women are just and this is just a note for those that have. Some of y'all watch all four of my channels. Some of y'all only watch this one. Some of y'all only watch my Cruise for Christ channel. But some of y'all watch all four of my channels because you're just evil like that. You're just gay like that. Okay. So you're just stalking me. But I'm gonna say to you that are stalking me, the reason why I'm talking about the Filipino world, because there's the good side of it and the bad side of it. And okay, I feel that somebody has to drop the hammer down. Stop blaming the West for going for a Western man leaving the West and going into the Philippines. He's still from the West, even though he's hating on Western women and he wants Western women to be more like Asian women. He's still from the West. His mama was a Western woman. He grew up He grew up in Western culture from a single parent families, like a lot of people in America today, like half of us in America today. And he wants to go over to the Philippines and act like something else because why? And then you want to sit here and complain to all these American women that, oh, well, this is too expensive and you're expecting too much. But you go over to the Philippines, their family, in order to marry a Philippine, this is where a lot of people are wrong about passport bros. You go out to the Philippines. Oh, man. You go out to the Philippines. Um, they what was I gonna say? Lost my train of thought. This is why I turned my TV off. I'm doing something, man. I just saw this. Did she die? I think she. No, I don't think she dies. Let me. No, whoop. That's not what I was looking for. I was looking for the off button. She doesn't die. I think. Oh yeah, I think she does die. Hang in there. Okay, I'm watching. What is the name of the show? Um, Chicago. What is it? Chicago PD. And there's a scene in there where this black girl was an activist and she got shot. And her boyfriend was a typical brother from the hood. Okay, I mean, she fell in love with him. And now she's paying the consequences. Even though he really loves her. This is all about making. This is why I do videos on this stuff, because this is all about making. How about we get these brothers out of the hood and get them to see another side of life, and then these women can fall in love with them. But on the flip note of that, turn this off. On the flip note of that, um, you know what is going on with these Philippine women being mothers, single parent mothers, and like here in the West, when a man is married, his wife isn't at the mall all day, okay? And his wife isn't out taking jobs to where other men, let's say from Europe or Spain or something, will come into the West and hit on his wife because she's working at a tourist bar or something like that. You know, um, these Western women take special steps. I know Christian Western women do anyway, make special steps to have if they're married to a man, they don't need to do certain jobs anymore. If they're married to a man, that doesn't mean that they just stay at home and cook all day either. But they do things that support their husband. They do things that help their husbands, okay, and protect their marriage. They can't just go out there you can't just have all the friends and be out, at Starbucks every day, all day or whatever, or out at the bar or out at the mall all day. You got a husband, you got a wife. So what are you out of the house all the time for? And like I watch these guys, we got a guy that got the nerve to call himself Filipina Black TV. Okay. So we black anywhere we go. Like you can't go anywhere. If a man get with an Asian girl and he turned down his Western culture, oh, this is the black side of it. There's always that black side. Where white people don't always get to show their white side. Asian people don't always get to show their Asian side. It's the name of the country, man. It's the name of the religion or whatever. But to blacks, oh, it's the black side of Mormonism, the black side of being a Jehovah's Witness, the black side of the NFL, the black side of the NBA. It's always black, and then you wonder why I go crazy with this. But it's never just the NBA or the NFL or Mormonism or Jehovah's Witnesses or the Philippines. It's always the black version of it. Black, 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 black. It's what kills me with this world, okay? But anyway, in closing, um, getting back to this, and I'm just doing this to test this screen recorder because it's been giving me trouble. If it don't work, then I gotta delete it anyway. But I'm just doing this to test this. Um, I want to see whether it was the moving screen that it won't support or what it was. But anyway, this guy here, they got onto the subject of abortion. And this guy here told Ruslan that it's all about his take. It's all about him being religious and him being a Christian, so he can't think outside of Christianity. I would like to debate that. I think outside of Christianity all the time, just like I said, as a Christian, because I believe Christian is the law for me, and it is the culture for me. You see what I'm saying? It's the law, it's the culture, it's the one true God. But personally, I think the only people that should be having babies, like I said, are the people that are certified to have babies. You have more reasons to get an abortion than you do, okay, um, having children. Okay. Now, he said something to Ruslan also about Christians always, no matter what, no matter what. Well, no, like I said, it's not just a matter of no matter what. But he also talked about how I like what Ruslan said, that there are thousands and millions of cases where people that should have had an abortion or would have made sense for them to have an abortion, they didn't, and now look at their life. I know a guy, and I said this in several videos. I know a guy. Actually, I don't know the guy. I know his mom. Um, his mom was raped by a black guy Okay. When she was in Europe. She was in Europe at the time. Somewhere in Europe, she was. She's from Europe. She was raped by a black man. And I think he was a serviceman, military. I'm not sure, but she was raped by this man. And I don't know if she was living in Europe or she was in Europe at the time, but she got raped by a man that she will call a black man. I didn't know that many black people was in Europe back in the day. But not only did she talk about her son, but I met her son. I take that back. He did come here to Pennsylvania to see her from the military. Now, her son, um, she wanted to have an abortion and she just couldn't do it. So she had her son, and because she admitted to me that she come from a racist background. She didn't believe, like, where she come from, you don't have biracial children. So she had like 3 reasons to get an abortion, but she didn't. She just couldn't find it in her heart to do it. She just didn't have the guts to do it. But she also didn't have the guts to, that's why she moved here to the West. That's what it was. That's why she moved to the States. Because it might be more acceptable here in the States for her to have a biracial child than it was in the foreign country that she was in. Um, if that's where she was at. I think it was Europe. Somewhere Europe out that way, she was Europe, um, I think. Somewhere in Europe. But anyway, you know how I am with countries and states and that. I don't look at the map. I just listen to YouTube. Everything comes off YouTube. But this woman I met in person, Lazarus Tomb Coffee House, this had to be right after I got divorced. So this had to be 1990. And I think it's after I got custody of my girls. Um, Had to be 1997 or somewhere in there. It was right after I got divorced. Oh no, it had to be after the year. It had to be 1998, 99, somewhere in there. 2000. I met this woman. Met her husband too. She's married. She came here to the West and married a man that is not only white, but he's also a Western. Okay, he's also an American who helped her raise her half black son. Okay. She is so proud of her son today. He's one of the top guys in the military right now as I'm sitting here. You go looking up some magazine about some of the top leaders in the military, the generals and so forth like that, you're going to see his picture. Okay. And this guy has passed all his training.
This playbook, but something like Balenciaga should be making
and got all his stuff done with flying colors. Okay. You name it. So you look in a magazine and you see a light skinned dude in there, real pretty boy, and he ain't just tall and handsome. He's a pretty boy. I mean, he's got the girls. I mean, this guy is like, you know, this guy is eye candy to a lot of women, and the women flock around him. This guy, she was getting ready to abort this guy. The other thing that I feel that that I think is anti childbearing is when your doctor tells you your child's going to grow up blind, or your child is going to grow up with parts of his body missing, or you're going to have, I don't know, Siamese twins or something. You were going to have to cut them and dejoin them or anything like that. Now, we don't really get into Simon. We don't really fall into the problem of Siamese twins in this country anymore. It still happens in other countries, and they've learned how to separate them. And sometimes separating them will kill them. But you don't see too many people walking around anymore with, I mean, you can go on here and you can go here on YouTube and type in Siamese twins, and it'll show you people in other countries that, they usually leave the country when this happens, or they never come into the country, whichever one it is, when they're like this. Because in this country, we separate them, even if it means, kill them. I don't know. I think it became illegal to have Siamese children here in the West. Don't quote me. I don't know. But I remember back in the day, they were always on TV, like, please pray for these people. But anyway, um, when the doctor tells you that your child is going to come out blind or deaf, he's not going to be able to play with the other kids. He's coming out, he's a crack baby, he's coming out with autism or whatever. To me, that's like, okay, I would rather see him die than to see him suffer. And I understand that too. Now, that's my biggest fear of something that would push me into abortion if I was a woman. Okay, because a man can't tell a woman to get an abortion, and a man can't tell a woman to keep a child. It's all up to her, which is that's another reason why I worship God, because God gives me all the rights. America and the rest of the world don't give me rights as a man. Okay, as a father, as a husband, I have no rights. Okay, I have no rights as a father and a husband. This is why a lot of men are moving to the Philippines. Okay, because I have no rights as a husband or a father. In the Philippines, a man has all the rights. But y'all calling, the Philippines what it is. Did you know that the Philippines has a female president? Y'all been trying to get a female president for years. They have a female president in the Philippines. I'm not in agreement with that. I have a picture of her on one of my sites. And then I heard the Filipino P talking about it. They have a female president in the Philippines right now. What is she doing better than the male presidents before her? Absolutely zero. Okay, poverty is at an all-time high in the Philippines. But here, poverty in the West affects Westerners and Americans. Whereas in these other countries like Philippines, poverty doesn't affect them any kind of way. The only way poverty can affect you is if you grab some money and go down and start feeding the poor people. That's the only way that poverty can affect you. But here, I got to deal with poverty every night. I had to escort poverty out of the building this morning. Okay. So, okay. There's a lot good outside of America than there is not. But in closing, we have to, as a Christian, I just wanted to say this. Christianity is my culture. It is the law of manhood to me, is the law of womanhood to me. And so, as a Christian, I am both Christian and human. And a lot of the things that, where's he at? A lot of things that this guy has said, this, oh, that's Ruslan. I don't know who this cracker is. He's weird. I just want you to see this video. I don't think the screen recorder will allow me to. This guy. This is his show. But anyway, um, you need to understand that you can be a Christian, and just like anything else in this world, just like if you're a leftist, regardless of whether you think part of the right is right, okay, is regardless of whether you think some things that Donald Trump said are right and good, okay, that's not what you fight for. That's not what you stand for. You stand for the left. And it's the same way as us Christians. We stand for the Bible. We stand for Christianity. We stand for the Christian community. But it doesn't mean that we don't have human desires, okay, that are just as human as anybody else's. Like that's one of, like, there might be 5 things that I don't want to happen in my life. One is to have a child. One is to raise a child that's defective. Okay. Two is to die in a fire or be burned to, like, deformity, or drown, okay, and be handicapped or die because of drowning, or something of that nature. And the last one is to be in a situation where, I love my wife or whatever, and something happens to her, that we get attacked and I have to watch her get attacked, and I can't do nothing about it because I'm too small, or, there's too many of them, or I'm not armed, or they're armed, and I can't draw my weapon or whatever, and they rape my wife. And these are things I have nightmares about. These are things that I never want to happen to me. These are things that, as soon as I get up in the morning, I start my day with understanding that I'm not going to let these things happen to me. Okay. And, I've watched so many stories, and even here on YouTube, just hearing stories and hearing documentaries of things like this happening to people. And, I just got mugged, as you all know, back in May or the beginning of June of 2021. Um, and the nightmares have increased, to the level of, like I realize now that if I ever fell in love again, I would die before I let anybody, you know, um, hurt my woman. Because, second of all, I'll never be in a relationship like my previous relationships. I will be in a relationship to where, this woman is like the most precious thing that God has given me, and I don't care about anything else. You know, I don't care about me. I don't care about what I want. I don't care about, you know, and I'll be talking about this more in my next Filipino video. But if you're watching, um, and I got to make this announcement on that channel. If you're watching my business channel, I might, because of I'm gonna be on this whole subject of the Philippines for a while, because I see some things starting to unfold. It's going to blow up on all of our faces that are wishful thinking. It's going to blow up on us. So I'm going to make an announcement, maybe even tonight, that I'm going to be talking about Filipino women and the Philippines and the culture and the Passport Bros. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to do a Passport Bros video tonight. And it ain't because I support the Passport Bros, it's because I don't. I mean, I kind of do, and I kind of don't. Okay? And they talk about 100 things here. I'm surprised they didn't mention the Passport Bros. They might by the end, I don't know. But you can watch this video. This video right here. This guy's channel name is No Jumper. I think that's this guy right here. And you can watch this. This is what I'm gonna be doing with this screen recorder. I'm gonna just be, showing you bits and pieces and telling you what to watch and what not to watch. What the stuff that I watch and where I get my criteria from, that's where you can get yours from. But this guy said a bunch of stuff, and I might do a part 2 of this and write it down. I don't know. This guy said a lot of stuff. And when Ruslan walked in, okay, when Ruslan walked in, that's this guy right here. When he walked in, this guy immediately, he let Ruslan talk for like almost 20 minutes before he opened up his mouth. And then he jumped in with this stuff about, this nonsense about, well, out of all my studies and that, why would anybody waste time? Basically what he was saying on the resurrection. And Ruslan was like, that's the thing. This is what you need to study, is a resurrection of Jesus Christ. And then he said the most atheist thing and the Christian thing as well, mixed in one. He said, well, how do you know that, what do you do if you don't have enough information about the resurrection? Like, how come all this information about the resurrection is not in front of me like everything else? How come it's so hard to study of and all this kind of stuff? Well, in closing, you're either into God or you're not. And I don't mean to sound like a Calvinist because I'm not, but God either picks you or he doesn't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? God picked Ruslan. I think Ruslan has some growing to do, but God picked him. But he, as much as I criticize Ruslan, he sat here in front of these guys and defended himself very well. Like this guy right here just shut up, like he didn't know what to say. But he didn't want to argue with Ruslan because he understands, he's very honest, like he knows he's living his life as an unrepentant sinner. And he wasn't going to argue with Ruslan because he believes in a lot of other things too. But as a Jew, I think this guy's Jewish or something. As a Jew and knowing a lot about the Bible, he understands where Ruslan is coming from. And then this guy here, he was supposed to do some kind of follow up. And this guy's tattoos are so ugly. This guy has a full body tattoo all the way to his face. His face is tattooed all the way down to his ankles. Very nasty. But, the Filipino girls will sit there and criticize that. But when he walks into the Philippines, okay, he'll be the first guy he picks. And I'm like, what kind of hypocrisy? You know what I'm saying? It will make no difference if he shows up in the Philippines saying he's looking for a wife. And I have a problem with that because, like, these Filipinos will say, "Oh, well, we're not into hairy men. We're not into tattoos. We're not into crazy hairdos and piercings and all like that." But yet they'll say out of the same mouth, "But if a guy like that shows up, this is why I'm really not into." Now, if a Christian were to say that he's not into this, he's not into it, or she is not into it. It ain't gonna happen. Okay? That's why Jesus is everything to me, because if I say it's not gonna happen, it doesn't matter whether I show up on your show or not. It still ain't gonna happen. Like, I wouldn't be able to argue. Ruslan did a good job. I wouldn't be able to argue with this guy. It would be real quick. I'd be like, well, I don't believe in abortion at all. Like Ruslan said, I don't believe in abortion at all. He said, well, I believe in abortion, up until so many months. But Ruslan was like, I don't believe in abortion at all. And Ruslan was trying to explain to him that the way he feels is separate from what the Bible feels or what the Bible says. But everybody is part of their own religious aspect or their own higher power beliefs that are above the beliefs that they already have. Everybody, not just me, not just Ruslan, but everybody. Even you atheists, you'll sit there and you'll say, well, I don't agree with that. I didn't agree with that. But yet, because an atheist said it, okay, oh, you're going to have all this good stuff to say about him because he's an atheist. When you don't believe in burning Bibles, you don't believe in, you know what I mean, exploiting women. But because he's an atheist, oh, he's a good friend of mine. Oh, he's a good friend of mine, and a lot of the stuff he says, I don't agree with everything, but I can understand why he said it. Why did he say it? He said it because he's a pervert. He's a no good piece of crap. That's why he said it. Ain't got nothing to do with you being an atheist. Because you don't need to do all that to be an atheist. Now, do you? No, you don't. Okay? So I'm going to close there because this probably didn't even record. But God bless you. I am D-Roy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. Okay? And Ruslan said something in here too that was like very life applications officer. Like they gave him a title. You should watch this video. I'm not going to play it because it'll probably mess up my screen recording. But they said something in here. They gave him a title in here about the way he stands up for things, and it was like, okay, where'd they get that name from? But that's why I call myself your life applications officer, because I believe that Jesus is everything. The Bible says Jesus is all and in all. All and in all. Okay. And that's who Jesus is. And, you know what I mean? Like other religions are just like your place to establish a religion or have some kind of access to God that you believe you have access to. But as a Christian, we believe that we don't only have access to God, we believe that God is controlling us. God is in us. God is next to us. God is constantly, the Holy Spirit is constantly leading and guiding us. That is the difference between, you know, being a good works type of Christian and really being born again. We believe that God not only runs our life because he picked us, but we believe that God is everything. And if we follow him, even though we disagree with God, and I disagree with God a lot of times, I disagree with God about this abortion issue, but I will not believe in abortion whatsoever for the sake of the gospel. If it were up to D-Roy, you'd be surprised what I believe about sex. You'd be surprised what I believe about abortion. You'd be surprised what I believe about women, children, education, science. You know, it would all change. But half of it I learned from being a Christian and understanding why the Bible says what it says. And the other half, the Bible's not going to change my mind. But I'm going to follow God because he is God. He is the higher power. He is the Elohim. So I'm going to follow God. Okay, for my own safety, I'm going to follow God. Okay, that's just like if you in the mob boss wins. Okay, and even though you don't feel that you needed to go out there and do all that to get the boss's point across, the boss said this is the commandment, you did it. And that's where I am about a Christian. There's a lot of things that I don't understand why they say it that way in the Bible. There's a lot of things that, you know, I don't agree with God about, but the other half that I do believe in God about dominates the half that I disagree with and shows that God is all and in all. And that all I need to do is, for my own safety's sake, stick with God. Okay, and in the end, it'll all work itself out. In Jesus' name. Thank you for watching. I am D-Roy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. This has been